Title: You're a Nobody. My daughter said in front of her friends on my birthday, "You fix toilets. You think that makes you a man?" Mom's new boyfriend owns 3 restaurants. My wife laughed and added, "Well, it's time you know the truth. You were always just temporary." I didn't say a word, just packing my bags. 30 minutes later, my phone blew up with 29 missed calls. Chapter 1. The Birthday Breakdown. I wasn't expecting a celebration. After all, it was just my 46th birthday, and I've never been one for candles or cake. But I didn't expect humiliation either, not from my own wife and daughter. We were in the dining room. My wife Lisa had insisted we do something low-key at home. She ordered takeout from some upscale fusion place, poured wine she didn't offer me, and invited over her new circle of friends, none of whom I knew. I stood in the corner, sipping flat soda, wondering when I'd become a ghost in my own house. Then it happened. My 17-year-old daughter Madison giggled with her friends while scrolling through something on her phone. One of them asked, "Wait, is that your dad?" She looked up at me with a smirk. "Yeah, that's him." She turned to them and added, "You know, he fixes toilets for a living. Thinks that makes him a man." They laughed. She laughed. And then came the part that truly shattered me. "You're a nobody," she said, loud enough for the whole table to hear. I looked at her. My daughter. The girl I once carried on my shoulders at the zoo, whose scraped knees I cleaned with shaking hands when she cried. The same girl who used to say, "You're my hero, Daddy." Now? I was just the joke. But it didn't stop there. Lisa raised her glass, smirked, and said, "Well, it's time you knew the truth." She motioned across the table to a man in a designer suit I hadn't noticed walk in. "This is Derek. He owns 3 restaurants in the city. He's more of a man than you've ever been. You were always just temporary." No one stopped her. No one even blinked. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the wine bottle. I didn't cry. I just stood up, walked upstairs, and packed my bag. One duffel. No hesitation. As I zipped it shut, I heard them still laughing downstairs. The only thing louder was my heartbeat in my ears. I walked past them without a word. And the moment the front door closed behind me, peace. 30 minutes later, as I sat in my truck at the edge of a darkened park, my phone began to buzz. 29 missed calls. 1 from Madison, 2 from Lisa, 26 from unknown numbers, and the last from Derek. I stared at the screen, then smiled, because I had already decided they were going to regret every single word. Chapter 2. Let them laugh. The first thing I did was turn off my phone, not because I couldn't handle it, but because I didn't want to. Their panic was just noise, and I wasn't ready to listen to noise. I spent that night in the backseat of my truck, parked outside a 24-hour laundromat. It wasn't warm, it wasn't comfortable, but for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. As the sun rose, I drove to the diner near my old apartment, one that still gave free refills and never rushed you out. I sat in the corner booth and ordered coffee. Black, like the thoughts brewing in my head. It wasn't about revenge at first. It was about trying to understand how I got here. I gave them everything. Lisa and I met when she was working part-time at a bookstore and I was still doing my plumbing apprenticeship. We had dreams. We had plans. I remember the day I told her, "Give me 10 years and you'll never have to lift a finger." She smiled and said, "Just don't forget who was there when you had nothing." I didn't. Turns out she did. Over the years, I built my own plumbing business from scratch, took night classes to get certified, bought the house, paid off her car, took Madison to every parent-teacher meeting, even when Lisa couldn't be bothered. And now I was temporary. But if there's one thing working in sewage teaches you, it's how to deal with filth. I opened my laptop, connected to the diner's Wi-Fi, and began researching lawyers, not just divorce lawyers, reputation specialists, forensics, tax auditors. I even bookmarked a few private investigators, just in case Derek's restaurant empire had soft spots, because I wasn't going to scream in their faces. I wasn't going to show up and beg. I was going to wait. Let them get comfortable. Let Lisa move Derek into my house. Let Madison post her snarky TikToks about her new dad. Let them all laugh. Because when I was finished, there wouldn't be anything left for them to laugh about. Chapter 3. The quiet before the collapse. 2 weeks passed. No screaming matches, no confrontations, just silence. I stayed gone. Lisa didn't file for divorce. Probably thought I'd come crawling back. Maybe she assumed I was living in some motel, crying into old wedding photos. She didn't know I'd hired someone. A man named Yusuf, ex-law enforcement, now a private investigator who specialized in what he called clean burnouts, cases where one spouse was about to go nuclear but needed evidence, leverage, and deniability. He started tailing Derek. Within 3 days, he had photos. Lots of them. Derek wasn't just cheating with Lisa, he was cheating on Lisa. A trail of hostesses, interns, even a waitress he got fired when she refused him. Yusuf didn't just bring photos. He brought timestamps, receipts, names. I paid him extra for the background checks. Derek's restaurants were deep in debt. Tax evasion. One was built illegally on rezoned property. He looked rich, but it was all credit, borrowed time, and lies. Perfect. I sent all the documentation to a tax lawyer anonymously, with a nudge to local business reporters, and I copied Lisa's name into the tips, subtly linking her as domestic partner and financial beneficiary. The goal wasn't just to destroy Derek. It was to turn Lisa into collateral damage. Meanwhile, Madison, my daughter, kept uploading clips on social media. "Out with Mom and Dee," she wrote on one video, showing them shopping at a luxury mall. "New dad better than the old one," she captioned another, showing Derek throwing money at designer bags. She thought she was hurting me. Instead, she was documenting financial fraud in real time, all under her mom's name. I just smiled and kept forwarding links to my lawyer. The best part? Every credit card they used was still in my name. I'd frozen them quietly, then reactivated them temporarily, just long enough for them to get comfortable, then cut them all off again during dinner at some overpriced steakhouse. They left with a $700 bill they couldn't pay. The waiter took a photo as they argued with the manager. That photo ended up on Yelp. I might have had something to do with that. The caption? Couple throws tantrum after their cards are declined. Woman screams, "My husband will pay." Spoiler, he didn't. Chapter 4. A taste of humiliation. Lisa always loved her control. She wore it like perfume, subtle but suffocating. In every room, she wanted to be the one people noticed, the one who had it all together. But by the time she stood at the bank counter, Derek by her side, both fuming and confused, her perfect world had already begun to fracture. "Ma'am, I'm afraid this joint account has been legally dissolved," the banker said, her voice carefully neutral. "What do you mean dissolved?" Lisa snapped. "That's my money too." The banker looked back at her screen. "It was in your husband's name only, and per the documentation, he removed you from all access 2 weeks ago. There's nothing I can do." Lisa blinked. "This must be a mistake. We own the house together. Everything is shared." "I'm sorry," the banker repeated, handing her a copy of the notarized removal documents, ones my lawyer had filed quietly. Derek leaned in, trying to look intimidating. "Don't you know who I am?" But the banker didn't blink. And that's when the first wave of reality hit Lisa. The second came 3 hours later, when she returned home to find a city notice stapled to the front door. Pending seizure, unpaid business property taxes. She ripped it down, furious. "What the hell is this?" I watched from across the street in an old sedan Yusuf had loaned me. She looked different now, not powerful, not untouchable, just desperate. Madison ran out onto the lawn, shouting, "What happened to the internet?" And why can't I get into Netflix? Lisa didn't answer. She was too busy reading the fine print. Meanwhile, my email buzzed. The IRS had acknowledged the anonymous tip. An investigation was officially underway. Attached was a receipt confirming Derek and Lisa's accounts had been flagged. 2 days later, the story broke in a local paper. Restaurateur under tax fraud investigation, girlfriend named as co-conspirator. Lisa's face was right there on the front page. Her employer immediately suspended her. Pending review. Her online friends vanished. Madison's influencer dreams toasted. Even Derek, once so smug, was now backing away from her. He didn't sign up to go down with the ship. Lisa tried calling me. 28 missed calls, then a message. I don't know what you've done, but please, we need to talk. You're ruining our lives. I didn't reply. I just sent her a photo. It was taken at our anniversary dinner, the one where she humiliated me in front of our daughter. In it, I was smiling quietly. She was raising a glass. I wrote, "You toasted to your freedom. Now drink it to the last drop." Chapter 5. The Undoing. Lisa stood in the middle of our once cozy living room, now stripped of all warmth. The curtains were gone. The TV gone. Even the couch had vanished, hauled away by movers 2 nights before while she was out pleading with Derek to stay. The only thing left was silence, and Madison's voice trembling from upstairs. "Mom! Someone just posted a video about us. It's going viral." Lisa ran up and grabbed the phone. On screen was a YouTube thumbnail that stopped her breath cold. Cheating wife humiliates husband at birthday dinner. But he got the last laugh, with over 1.3 million views. The video was edited flawlessly, clips from the dinner, leaked screenshots of text messages, photos of her and Derek, court documents. And most painfully, Madison's cruel outburst, crystal clear, caught on camera by a friend at the party who thought it was funny. Comments flooded in. The daughter's just as entitled as the mom. He handled this like a king. This is straight up pro-revenge. Lisa's hands trembled as she scrolled, her face losing color with each swipe. Madison was crying now. "They're calling me a bully, Mom. A monster." Lisa's phone rang again. Derek. "Listen," he said, his voice clipped and panicked. "This is getting out of control. My investors are pulling out. My lawyer says your ex-husband might have recorded everything legally. I can't do this." He hung up, just like that. Derek was gone. Lisa collapsed to the floor, breath shallow, staring into nothing. Downstairs, the front door creaked open. She flinched, then turned. I stepped in, calm, sharp in a black coat. I hadn't spoken to her in over a month. "You," she whispered. "I'm just here for one thing," I said, holding up a small velvet box. It was the wedding ring, the one she had mockingly thrown in the sink that night. I'd fished it out quietly just before the movers came. I placed it on the coffee table. Then I handed her a neatly folded piece of paper. It was a check for exactly $1. Lisa blinked, confused. "What is this?" "It's your share of what you're owed," I said, "after debts, taxes, and court settlements." She opened her mouth to protest, but I turned and walked away. And just before closing the door, I added without looking back, "You once said I was temporary. Now you're the one left behind." Chapter 6. Peace. Finally. 1 year later. The air was clean, crisp, quiet in the way cities never are. I stood on the porch of my modest lakeside cabin, coffee in one hand, serenity in the other. No noise, no chaos, just the soft hum of the water and the breeze nudging the pines. My phone buzzed. A single notification from the private investigator I'd hired back then, months before I ever left home. A final update on Lisa. Her boyfriend Derek declared bankruptcy last month. She's working part-time at a diner. No fixed address. The daughter moved out. Rumor is they're estranged. I stared at the message. I felt nothing. No triumph, no hatred, no lingering grief, only peace. I sipped my coffee and went back inside. On the wall were framed pictures, Not of the past, but of the now. A hiking trip with my brother. A photo of me shaking hands with the CEO, who'd recently hired me for a major engineering contract. And a new one. A simple, smiling selfie with someone new. Someone who didn't compare me to a restaurant owner. Someone who never laughed at my hands when they were dirty from fixing pipes. The world thought I was a broken man who'd been humiliated by his own family. They didn't know the truth. I rebuilt myself from the rubble they left behind and created a life so clean, so honest, and so far out of their reach, they'll never even smell it. And on my desk, neatly tucked in a drawer, was the note Madison sent 6 months ago. Dad, I'm sorry. I was young and stupid. I miss you. I hadn't replied. Not yet. Maybe someday. Maybe not. For now, I'd earned the right to be free of her noise. I opened the back door and let the morning sunlight wash over me. I wasn't a nobody. I was the man who survived them and walked away stronger. Was this revenge perfectly justified? Tell us what you would have done in the comments below. Like the story, share it with someone who needs this energy, and subscribe to Lauren's story for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal and justice. Because here, every lie has its reckoning, and every betrayal finds its shadow. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay tuned.